Discord is likely going to be one of the first places you'll be running your online TTRPG, like Dungeons & Dragons, Call of Cthulhu, or Pathfinder, to name a couple. So it is pretty important to know how to use Discord for D&D and TTRPGs, and I did make a video about that about a year and some change ago, and it's pretty bad. The audio is horrible, the music is too loud, and my general knowledge on Discord and playing TTRPGs has increased drastically. So, since I have leveled up, I thought it would be a great idea to recreate that video with updated information in 2023. So, today I'll be discussing how to use Discord for D&D and TTRPGs. However, this video is not a basic primer on how to use Discord, so I won't explain in detail or show specifically how to create a server, add bots, moderation, or even create threads, since this video assumes you have a basic understanding of all of that. But wait, hold on there for a moment. Before you go off gallivanting thinking you're about to create the best server, you need to answer a couple of questions to yourself. Trust me, it'll save you a bit of time. First, what specifically are you using your server for in relation to TTRPGs? Are you trying to create a community or just simply a server to run your game? What is your style of playing and GMing while online? Do you prefer voice and video chat, just simply voice chat, or do you prefer play-by-post games? Secondly, what role-playing game are you going to run on there? What is the system you're playing? Is it going to be one game like D&D or several? And more specifically, what bots will you need for that specific game? Thirdly, how much time do you have to manage a server, especially a big one that you hope to grow a community with? You really need to take that into consideration, especially if you don't have a lot of time on your hand. By answering these questions, you clearly can save yourself time and headache building, running, and being in your server. Why? Because everything you put in has a need. You don't waste your time managing a server, and instead, you play and run the game you want. Here's a good example. My private server is for me and my close friends, online and offline, to play several TTRPGs. We use a combination of voice and video chat alongside Roll20 to help us visualize the game. As such, I built a server to meet my needs by getting several bots relevant to the systems I played, such as Genesis, DD5E, and Call of Cthulhu, setting up separate categories for each of the games I run, as well as giving roles to help improve the functionality. So, starting from the top, you need to create your server. You need to give your server a name. If the server is for a specific TTRPG, then it's best to include the game in it. Otherwise, name it whatever you want. When creating your server, you will be given this option. You can choose between a club or community, or you can make your server for your friends. What does this mean? It just means either a public server or a private server. If you do for a club or community, people can join via an invite such as via a link posted on a blog, a YouTube channel, or via a QR code. So this doesn't really matter too much, but if you really want to explore and experiment, go right ahead. Otherwise, I can just say skip this question. So you've made your server. Now you need to make your categories. Categories allow for greater organization within your server, and I believe in functionality and organization to help all players and GMs in mind. I focus on 4 different groups when discussing categories: server logistics, a general category, game-specific categories, and miscellaneous. Also, there is a voice channel that you'll usually have, especially if you're playing a voice and video chat based TTRPG. Starting off with server logistics. This category includes anything specific to the server. In this, I would include something like an introduction for people to introduce themselves with their name, pronouns, and other relevant information. Rules specifying what is acceptable and not acceptable in your server. Next is your general category. This is where anything not related to playing, running, or discussing TTRPGs would be. It also would not inherently be anything related to the server itself, like the category before. Necessary channels I think you should have are a general chat channel for all sorts of conversations. Secondly, a meme channel, and I think I need to explain why. A game query channel. This is a place for members to suggest game ideas, campaigns, or suggest a system for your next TTRPG. This keeps the clutter out of general and focuses in on the conversation. Fourth is a music channel where you play music. This channel will also limit clutter and keep you organized when playing music, assuming you're not using something like Kenku.fm. As for channels you might want, you can have a quotes channel for smart and clever quips your players might share. Or you can also have an info/promo channel for people to promote their events and other things they want to run in your server. Afterwards is the game-specific category. This will help your organization, and I think the best way to start is to name it the system you're using and/or a specific acronym. Afterwards, here are some channels that I usually recommend. A game-specific chat. Here you can discuss anything and everything related to the system and game sessions. This will help when you don't want to clutter the general chat with your in-game discussions. The Dice Bot channel. This will help you organize your dice rolls. This can also be a place where you as a GM roll in private. In that case, I recommend you create 2 channels, one that players can see and one that only you can see. Afterwards is a summary channel. This allows you to write quick summaries about one-shots or sessions so that you don't forget anything. Also, I recommend including a notes channel. This is for specific information that is relevant to the game and to the needs of the table. Whereas a game chat channel could include memes, in-character conversations, and game rules, the notes channel is for all important information that you really don't want to miss. Now on to channel wants. I think a game-specific tracker is also a really useful tool. If you are the GM, you might be playing a game that requires tracking progress on an objective. It is best to have a channel separate for that if you do not want to put it in a DiceBot channel or in your general chat channel. Finally is the Dearly Departed channel. This allows you to memorialize all of your lost PCs and NPCs throughout your one-shot or campaign. Finally is the Miscellaneous category. This is anything else on your server that you might not deem necessary, but you're not really sure where else to put it. This could be a creative category for folks to post food pictures or pictures of their animals. Maybe it's a life update channel, or a venting channel, or even something silly like a counting channel. You could also have a not safe for work category, but just make sure that everyone is 18 plus so you avoid any legal issues. Ultimately, Miscellaneous should be last because assumedly you're making the server for TTRPGs first, so you really want to focus on that. So you have created your server, category, and subsequent channels. Now, we're going to be discussing bots, everyone's favorite topic. I separate dice bots into 3 categories: administrative, dice rolling, and GM and player tools. Starting with administrative. This is anything that helps you organize, schedule, or plan your games. For example, Discal. Discal is a calendar integration Discord bot. This will help you figure out all of your issues on scheduling. Another example would be Simple Poll. This allows for simple polling in your Discord server, which is really helpful if you're trying to decide on a TTRPG or maybe on what your next event will be in your server. Afterwards are dice rolling bots. Dice rolling bots are, well, anything related to dice rolling, and there are a lot of dice bots. So, to help you out, you really should consider your specific TTRPG and what bot will work best for you. If you only play D&D 5e, then Dice Maiden and Dice Parser will work. They are dice bots that are very simple to learn and understand. But what if you're playing, say, Call of Cthulhu? Then a bot like Dorian, a Call of Cthulhu bot, will help. The same applies to TTRPGs like Fate, Star Wars Edge Studios, or any other specific dice bot for your specific TTRPG. Or what if you want a bot that's very specific in one way? Maybe every player's playing on mobile, then a bot like Button Dice Roller will help because, well, it's made for mobile users. So your bot will depend on your needs for your game. So be sure to consult all of your players and the GMs who are running and playing in your server. Also, make sure to take into account your VTT. You might not even need a dice bot if you run, say, everything on Tabletop Simulator or Roll20, but I would recommend you to have a dice bot of some kind just in case. And finally is GM and player tools. These are any bots that will help improve the game experience by either adding ambience, tools, random generators, or something along those lines. They can be music bots like Kenku.fm or Vixera. They can be specific bots for specific systems like Avery for D&D 5e or Thovin for, well, D&D 5e. There are also bots that help with in-character role-playing like Tupperbox. Or, what if you're a streamer? Then Streamcore will be super helpful if, say, you're running an actual play on your server. So, it's really important to take into account the needs of your players and the GM in your server so that you can find the bots that are best for you. After you decided your bots, the final step are roles and permissions. Simply put, it is best to specify roles in relation to the role-playing game in your server. If you have people in different games, it's best not to ping them for every single thing. It gets really annoying really fast. And when in doubt, keep it simple, especially if you are on a small server. For example, in this picture you see, I made a role specific to each system players are in. One for my basic role-playing game, and one for my mouse reader game, as well as a GM role and a bots role. This allows for me to separately ping players specific to each campaign and organize what players can see in each server. What matters is to create roles specific for each player's game so you can avoid confusion. After that, really, you're ready to go. There is no right or wrong to create a D&D or TTRPG server, but there are certainly ways to make a more effective server. So, organization is everything. Create categories and secret channels that relate to the game. A disorganized mess will suck for players and the GM. Think about what is necessary for your server in terms of bots. You do not want 20 different bots and most of them go unused. It can bog down the server and also could be annoying if abused. Roles and permissions are important for hiding certain information, roles, and channels from other players, as well as making sure to ping the right players for the right game. So be sure to correctly give permissions to other members of the server before you get started. And tip, in general, if you like memes and silliness in your server, be sure to give your players access to add emojis, soundboards, and the music bot if you think that's okay. But there's a lot about bots that I did not discuss. In fact, there are loads of bots you should be considering for your next TTRPG. Therefore, check out this video on 50 Discord bots so you can find the perfect Discord bot for you. And as always, I'm your average everyday queer host, Blurry Disposition. We all have an awesome day. Ciao!